My best friend, Emily Summers, who had always been terrified of dogs, suddenly told me she was planning to buy a pet dog. That's when I knew that she had been reincarnated too. In my previous life, I bought a pure white toy poodle from a pet shop. From the moment that little dog came into my home, everything in my life turned around. Morgan Hale, our manager who had always been at odds with me, suddenly offered me a promotion and a raise. Even the client I'd been struggling to win over for months personally requested to sign the deal with me. But the most unbelievable change of all? Silas Sullivan, the company's tall, rich, and handsome CEO, got down on one knee and proposed to me after a party, saying he wanted to marry me. I had said yes and even invited Emily to the wedding to witness my happiest moment. However, driven by jealousy, she caused my end on the day of the wedding. Why should someone like you get to marry a CEO while I'm stuck working 3 shifts a day like a worker? The next time I opened my eyes, I was back at that moment, standing beside her, at the pet shop, looking at dogs. That toy poodle is so adorable. Sir, how much is it? I'll take it. Inside the bustling pet market, my best friend, Emily Summers, who'd always been terrified of dogs, rushed up to the pet shop owner, not even bothering to ask the price before claiming Snowy the fluffy white poodle for herself. Then, she quickly scooped Snowy into her arms, clutching it like she was afraid I'd snatch it away. Watching her, I instantly knew she had been reborn too. Sure enough, Emily beamed as she cuddled Snowy, then gave me a triumphant glance. Sorry, Mia, I know you wanted this dog too, but I beat you to it. Now I'm gonna be on a roll, get rich, and who knows, maybe even meet my Prince Charming. She was practically glowing with excitement, the gleam in her eyes screaming victory. Nevertheless, I just looked at her with a calm expression. I never wanted that dog. In my previous life, the only reason I bought Snowy was because the pet shop owner had kept begging, saying the poor thing was sick and would be thrown out if no one took it. I had only brought it home out of pity. I never expected it to completely change my life. Emily didn't believe me for a second. Her face was full of doubt. No way. The only reason she abruptly stopped mid-sentence, shooting me a wary glance like she was scared I'd figured something out. She didn't finish her thought. However, I already knew exactly what she was trying not to say. After I bought Snowy in my last life, everything started going my way. Morgan Hale, the manager who used to hate me, suddenly promoted me and gave me a raise. The client whose deals I could never close specifically asked to sign with me. And the most unbelievable of all was that Silas Sullivan, the tall, rich, and handsome CEO of our company, had proposed to me after a party, getting down on one knee and asking to marry me. I said yes, and I invited Emily to the wedding to witness the happiest moment of my life. However, driven by jealousy, she had caused my end on the day of the wedding. Why should someone like you get to marry a CEO while I'm stuck working 3 shifts a day like a worker? Next thing I knew, I opened my eyes and found myself back on that day, standing beside her at the pet shop, looking at dogs. Now, holding that same white poodle in her arms, Emily was bursting with excitement. The very next day, she brought Snowy to the office and wasted no time showing it off to everyone. Of course, she made sure to glance in Morgan's direction while doing it. Sure enough, Morgan gave us both a surprised look, her eyes scanning between us. You bought that poodle? But I thought you were afraid of dogs. Emily jumped in immediately. Me? Afraid of dogs? Never. I love these cute little poodles. I'm going to take care of her forever. Hearing that, Morgan's expression shifted slightly. After a brief pause, she told Emily to bring Snowy into her office. Emily started in with Snowy, and when she came back out, she practically skipped over to me, barely able to contain herself. Mia, you'll never believe it. I got promoted, with a raise. I'm going to be your direct manager from now on. Soon, I'll be handling major projects, becoming a top executive, and eventually marrying. She cut herself off with a theatrical glance to the side, but the flushed pride on her face was impossible to miss. Then, she looked back at me with smug disdain. As for you, you're just going to be another corporate workhorse, working hard at your 9 to 9 grind forever. Don't even dream about competing with me. With that, she picked up the poodle and started out of the office. I watched her retreating back and let out a quiet laugh, the corners of my lips curling up. If she wanted the luck Snowy brought so badly, then she'd better be ready for the disaster that came with it too. Emily was finally basking in glory at the company. The HR department quickly announced her promotion and raise. Leadership praised her repeatedly in meetings, calling her competent and highly capable. Within a few days, multiple clients came knocking, all specifically requesting to sign deals with her. Emily strutted around like a proud peacock, her chin raised so high that she was practically looking down her nose at me. Mia, you must be so jealous right now, huh? Well, too bad. You're not as pretty as me, and you're definitely not as talented. My advice? Suck up to me now. Who knows? Once I marry into a rich family, I might let you be a maid at my house. With that, she turned and walked away on 4-inch stilettos, clicking loudly with every smug step. The rest of the team had been thoroughly worn down by her arrogance over the past few days. They started whispering among themselves. Has Emily totally lost it? She got promoted to some minor management role, and now she thinks she runs the place. Today, she even warned me not to upset her. She claims she's about to marry into a wealthy family. Marry into a wealthy family? Please. As if she gets a dog and suddenly thinks she's some society heiress? That's nothing. She's been bragging that she's gonna be Mr. Sullivan's wife. She's absolutely delusional. Everyone was annoyed and mocking her behind her back, convinced she was full of herself, but I knew the truth. Everything Emily said was true. She really was about to marry into wealth. She would become Silas Sullivan's wife and reach the pinnacle of her life. Alas, that was also the beginning of her nightmare. Soon, thanks to landing multiple major deals, Emily became the company's top salesperson. To celebrate the team hitting its quarterly target, the company threw a cocktail party. Emily was over the moon because she remembered exactly what happened in our past life. It was at that same party where our CEO, Silas, had fallen in love with me at first sight. Right then and there, he had confessed his feelings, proposed, and asked me to be his wife. Overnight, I went from an invisible employee to the future Mrs. Sullivan. Emily must have been dying of envy back then. So in this life, the second she heard about the cocktail party, she couldn't contain herself. She dressed to the nines that night, wearing almost the exact same gown, heels, hairstyle, and lipstick I'd worn at that party in our last life, except for one thing, which was the most important detail of all. Snowy. Sure enough, as soon as she arrived, Emily locked her eyes on Silas across the room. She was just about to make her move when he turned and looked straight at her. Right in front of everyone, he began striding over. Emily's excitement was was impossible to hide. She batted her lashes and leaned in coyly. Mr. Sullivan, where's the toy poodle? He cut her off. Why didn't you bring it with you?